There is a specific moment when you realize you're not who you thought you were. You're in an argument and you hear yourself say something designed to hurt, not to communicate, but to win, to make the other person feel small enough that they'd stop fighting back. You didn't plan it. You're not a manipulator. You're a good person. But in that moment, you used a tactic, subtle, effective, unconscious, and it worked. This is the psychology of accidental manipulation. And if you don't understand the weapons you carry without knowing it, you'll spend your life hurting people while believing you're just protecting yourself. Let's start with the truth you don't want to hear. You manipulate people. Not always, not maliciously, but you do it. And before you close this video, before you convince yourself this doesn't apply to me, ask yourself this. Have you ever said you're fine when you weren't, just to make someone feel guilty? Have you ever brought up someone's past mistakes to win a current argument? Have you ever played the victim card to avoid taking responsibility? If you answered yes to any of these, congratulations, you're a human, and humans manipulate. Not because they're evil, but because manipulation is a survival strategy, a way to get needs met when asking directly feels too vulnerable, a way to control outcomes when life feels uncontrollable. The problem isn't that you manipulate, it's that you don't realize you're doing it. And what you can't see, you can't change. The first tactic is the one you think is self-control. Someone hurts you, and instead of talking about it, you go silent. Not the healthy kind of silence where you're processing, but the punishing kind. The kind designed to make them suffer for what they did. You withdraw completely, stop responding, become cold, and you tell yourself you're just protecting your own peace. But here's the truth. You're punishing them, making them chase you, making them apologize not because they understand what they did wrong, but because they can't stand the silence. This is the silent treatment, and it's manipulation. Because you're not communicating your hurt, you're weaponizing their fear of abandonment. You're making them so desperate for your attention that they'll do anything to get it back, including taking blame they don't deserve. And the cruelest part, you get to feel morally superior while doing it, because you're not yelling, you're not being mean, you're just being quiet. The second tactic is the one you use when accountability feels too heavy. Someone calls you out, and instead of owning it, you flip the script. Suddenly, you're the one who's been hurt, the one who's been misunderstood, the one who's always criticized no matter what you do. You cry, you shut down, you make them comfort you for the pain you caused them. And just like that, the conversation shifts. It's no longer about what you did, it's about how hard things are for you, how much you're trying, how unfair it is that no one sees your efforts. This is victim playing, and it works because most people can't stand watching someone suffer, so they back off, apologize for confronting you, take care of you instead of holding you accountable. And you walk away thinking you've been validated, when really you have just avoided growth. The third tactic is the one you don't even call manipulation. You call it perspective. Someone tells you they're hurt by something you said, and instead of listening, you tell them they're overreacting. You're being too sensitive. You didn't mean it that way. You were joking. They're taking it wrong. They need to stop being so emotional. And slowly, they start to doubt themselves. Maybe they are overreacting. Maybe they are too sensitive. Maybe the problem isn't what you did, it's how they received it. This is gaslighting, the subtle version. The kind that makes someone question their own reality until your version becomes the only truth that matters. You're not lying. You genuinely believe your intentions matter more than their impact. But impact is what counts. And when you make someone feel crazy for feeling hurt, you're not protecting yourself, you're erasing them. The fourth tactic is the one you learned young, the one modeled by every adult who couldn't ask for what they needed directly. You want something, and instead of asking, you make someone feel bad for not offering. I guess I'll do it myself. It's fine, I'm used to being alone. Don't worry about me, I'll figure it out. These aren't statements, they're hooks, designed to trigger guilt, to make the other person scramble to prove they care by giving you what you want. And it works, because good people hate feeling like they have let someone down. But here is the manipulation. You're not giving them a choice here. You're making them choose between giving what you want or feeling like a bad person. That's not communication at all. That's coercion dressed up as martyrdom. The fifth tactic is the one that keeps people trapped in a cycle they can't win. Someone tries to meet your needs, they apologize, they change, they do exactly what you ask for, and you find something else wrong. Some new standard they are failing to meet, some other way they are disappointing you. The goalposts keep moving, and no matter how hard they try, it's never enough for you. This is how you maintain control, by ensuring they're always chasing your approval but never quite reaching it, always trying to fix something, always one step behind your expectations. And you don't even realize you're doing it. You think you're just being honest about what you need, but what you need keeps changing to ensure they stay dependent on your validation. The sixth tactic is the cruelest one because it feels like love until you look closer. You give affection when someone behaves the way you want, and you withdraw it when they don't. Warm when they agree with you, cold when they challenge you, present when they make you feel good, absent when they need you to show up for their pain. This is conditional love, and it teaches people that their worth is tied to their usefulness to you. They learn to perform, to suppress their true feelings, to mold themselves into the version of themselves you'll accept. And you think you're just having boundaries, but boundaries are about protecting yourself. This is about controlling them. The seventh tactic is the escape route you take when the spotlight gets too bright. Someone confronts you about your behavior, and instead of addressing it, you bring up something they did. What about the time you did this? You're not perfect either. Why are you always attacking me? The conversation derails. It's no longer about your actions, it's about theirs. And by the time the argument ends, the original issue has been buried under a pile of counter-accusation. This is deflection, and it's how you avoid accountability while making the other person feel like they're the problem. You're not defending yourself here, you're redirecting the blame, and every time you do it, you chip away at the possibility of real resolution. Why do you use these tactics? Why does a good person manipulate without meaning to? Because manipulation isn't about morality, it's about fear. Fear of being vulnerable, fear of being rejected, fear of being seen as needy or weak or wrong. You learned early that direct communication is risky, that asking for what you need might lead to rejection, that admitting you're wrong might mean losing respect or love or control. So you found safer ways, indirect ways to get what you need without exposing yourself to the danger of honest interaction. And those ways worked, so you kept using them until they become automatic, unconscious, part of how you navigate relationships without even thinking about it. But here's what these tactics cost you. Even when they work, they destroy trust, they create resentment, they trap people in relationships where they're always walking on eggshells, never sure which version of you they're going to get. And worst of all, they prevent real intimacy, because intimacy requires honesty, vulnerability, and the willingness to be seen in your imperfection and trust that you won't be abandoned for it. Manipulation is the quite opposite of that. It's control pretending to be connection, and you can't control someone and truly know them at the same time. So, what do you do with this information? How do you stop using tactics you didn't know you were using? You start by noticing, catching yourself in the moment when you go silent to punish, when you flip into victim mode, when you gaslight or guilt trip or deflect. And instead of defending it, you pause. You ask yourself what you're really afraid of. What needs are you trying to meet indirectly that you could ask for directly instead? You practice saying the uncomfortable thing. I'm hurt and I need to talk about it. I messed up and I'm sorry. I need help but I'm scared to ask. It won't feel natural at first. Direct communication rarely does when you've spent years hiding behind manipulation. But slowly, you'll realize something. That vulnerability isn't as dangerous as you thought, that people respond better to honesty than tactics, that real connection is worth the risk of being seen. So, if you recognized yourself in any of these tactics, don't spiral into shame. Manipulation isn't proof that you're a bad person. It's proof that you're a scared person trying to survive relationships with tools that once protected you but now hurt everyone involved. You can put those tools down. You can learn new ones. You can become someone who asks instead of hints, who wants instead of deflects, who loves without conditions. It starts with awareness, and awareness starts now. You're not the villain, you're just human. And humans can change the moment they decide the cost of staying the same is too high. Stop manipulating and start communicating, and watch how differently people respond when you finally let them see you.